Hi viewers, this is CMA M Venkateshwaru, BSc MCom FCMA. My YouTube channel is Venkat Manikyala. I request all of you to like, share and subscribe my YouTube channel. The main purpose of creating this YouTube channel is to understand subjects to all the students who are all in very preliminary stage, intermediate stage, degree stage, or professional educations like CS, CMA, CS. These are all the very fundamentals. So after that, after these fundamentals are over, I also try to cover all the complicated and very important problems. Right? For instance, I am this video is for the to cover the fundamentals. Right? Today we discuss the bills of exchange. The topic here is an bills of exchange. This is also a very simple lesson, and moreover we 100% we get the marks. There will be no much complications if you know this subject. Bills of exchange. There is no chance for confusing us much as far as the other lessons are concerned, whereas this bills of exchange is very easy and limited. Instead we can say it's a limited subject, right? So here we have two definitions that everybody has to write. Note down, all of you. I request all of you to note down. The first one is this bills of exchange is covered under the regulated by the Negotiable Instrument Act. The act for this is Negotiable Instruments Act 1881. This is what an act covers, right? The one more thing is a definition of bills of exchange. Bills of exchange definition everybody has to know, whereas when it comes to theory question or big question also, first we are supposed to write this definition, right? So this is it is an instrument in writing containing an order. It's not a request. If it's a request, it's not a value, right? It's an order, unconditional order. We can say order unconditionally. There is no condition should put for this. Unconditionally. I say, if that happens, I'll give this much amount. If this happens, no such kind of conditions are allowed in this document. Maker should write unconditional containing an order unconditionally by the maker directing a certain person. That means the person name also we are supposed to write in this document. Certain person to pay certain amount. There should not be any certainty. Certain amount only to or to the order of a certain person. Certain person. or to the bearer of the instrument instrument. This is what an bills of exchange. All of you be carefully write, note down all these things. The small bits kind of things is an number one is an this bills of exchange is what is this? This regulated by which act? This act is Negotiable Instrument Act 1881. And definition for the bills of exchange is it is an instrument in writing containing an order unconditionally. That means it should be an order, should not be a request, and there should not be having any conditions. So that means unconditionally by a maker. Whoever writing that instrument, he has to give an order. Directing a person, we cannot say so and so group and all these things. We have to say a particular person. Let us say I am directing to pay unconditionally on particular date. Let us say certain amount. So 1 lakh amount. Certain amount means specifically we have to say amount. 1 lakh amount to the order. That means I can directly say to Vikrant. Pay the amount to the Vikrant. Or let us say on order of Vikrant. On the order of Vikrant. That also I can write. Or simply I can say bearer of the instrument. Like that, whoever is selling the goods or whoever is getting is supposed to get the amount from certain person, that person has to write. He is called as an maker. On whom we are directing, that person is called an is an creditor. In other words, we have a terminology called drawee. So whoever signs that, it must be signed by that person. So without signature of that person, it is not called as an bills of exchange, right? This is the definition of the bills of exchange. So all of you note down and let us have that this is an important thing. Next one is even though we call it as bills of exchange, the other document is also comes under the bills of exchange, but that name is not an bills of exchange. That name is an promissory note. Promissory note is also, as it is the treatment, everything is in this only. That is a promissory note. That also you note down. Promissory note. The difference between this is a promissory note is an instrument. This also comes under that act. It is an instrument. It is an instrument in writing containing an unconditional undertaking signed by the maker to pay a certain amount. Only to the order of a certain person or to the bearer of the instrument. From here onwards, the last wordings are almost same to the both the bills of exchange and promissory note. But very starting we have to see, it is an instrument in writing containing an unconditional undertaking signed by the maker, whereas that is an ordering certain person, but whereas this is an, he himself says that I'll pay so and so date to the so and so person, right? Without any, with this also without any conditions. So that means here, let us say seller gives a promissory note, seller writes a promissory note, but whereas here the promissory notes, buyer will write a promissory note. This is the main difference between bills of exchange and promissory note. But both are considered the bills of exchange. Apart from only these writings and other things, remaining everything remains same. Treatment is same, right? Accounting is also same. Okay, now we discuss about the maximum possible entries when we in the lesson of bills of exchange, right? We can say these are the 8 points we have. If we learn the 8 points, the whatever they give in the examination, that we are able to write general entries, right? That is the most important, these 8 points. If we are confident enough in all these points, then obviously we are experts, we can say, in this bills of exchange, right? The number one is when the bill is drawn and accepted. Who is drawing here? Before that, before discussing all this, let us discuss about who are the parties in the bills of exchange. The main parties in the bills of exchange are drawer. In other words, whoever sells the goods, supplier. The supplier is an drawer, right? So whoever receives the goods, that is a debtor. Debtor to this drawer is a drawee, right? He is supposed to pay back amount to the drawer. So he is called drawee, he is called drawer. So whoever, let us say, because he is supplying the goods, obviously he is supposed to pay the amount to the drawer, right? In general case, right? So if he pays the amount to him, he also becomes as a payee. Let us say a drawer wants to pay the same amount to outsider, let us say. So that means that payee can be drawer itself or somebody else maybe, right? So as far as the drawee is concerned, the payee is a creditor or a drawer is a creditor, right? So these three parties in generally, drawer and payee, one and the same. If at all he wants to ask him to pay somebody else person, so in the definition already we learned that he orders that he has to pay to so and so person. Let us say he is Mr. Vikrant. So goods sold to the drawee, that is let us say Surya. So he wants to pay the amount, Vikrant wants to pay the amount, or he is liable to pay amount to the, let us say, somebody else person, let us say Hindu. If he wants to pay Hindu, or directly instead of getting back amount and getting the amount paying to the Hindu, directly he can ask this drawee to pay this bills of exchange directly to the Hindu. So that now the drawer becomes as an Vikrant and Surya become an drawee and Hindu become payee. If the same amount is paid to him only, then payee also Mr. Vikrant, right? So these are all the three parties we have. So with these parties, now we'll discuss all these entries, right? So when bill is drawn and accepted, that means simply he sold the goods and he drawn by signing that so and so on date, unconditionally you have to pay, then drawee has to accept. When he draws and that drawee is accepted, then we have to write one journal entry. This is the first one. The when bill is discharged, that means let us say he wants to pay after 2 months. So after 2 months, if he paid, the bills of exchanges are completed with these two entries, right? So this is when bill is discharged. Let us say when drawer the bill, that is Mr. This person endorsed to third party, or directly he can draw in the bill, or else when he receives the bill, he can give it to other person to get that amount. So that is called endorsement. So discounts, let us say instead of keeping him within for a long time or until the due date comes, he can give this amount, these discounts with the banker, right? Banker may give that amount immediately by having in their charges, their service charges. That is nothing. In other words, we can say discounts. Sends bank to the collection. What he does generally, let us say, he is doing his main business or main activities are the selling the goods, right? So banker he may forget after some time or on due date. So then it becomes as an not useful to him, this person travel. That's the reason his main business is in selling and purchasing the goods. So what he does, he sends these bills of exchange, he gives to the bank and asks them to collect on due date. So that for that purpose, he sends the bank this bills of exchange to the bank. Either one of these only he can do, right? When he drawer of the bill, what he can do? Either he can endorse to somebody else, or he can discount with the bank, or he can send that bill for the collection to the bank, right? This is the third one. Either way, we have to write the general entries, right? These three will be somewhat different, that we'll discuss. So, fourth one, when the bill is dishonored, let us say on due date he dishonored, then what is the general entry we are supposed to do? That one we discuss. When noting charges are paid, so once it is a dishonored, we are supposed to note them legally to bind the drawee to get back that amount. Those are that noting with the lawyer, what we do, we note them, that saying that it's nothing but an evidence. So getting that evidence is called noting, right? So for the noting charges, because he dishonored, he also instead of not getting the amount, also he spent some amount for the service. So that charges also he is supposed to pay, drawee is supposed to pay, right? In this case, Surya is supposed to pay, right? In our example, it is, we can say Vikrant is in this. Vikrant is in drawer. Surya is in drawee. In this case, Indu is a payee, let us suppose. So now those noting charges are supposed to be bear by the Surya. When the bill is renewed for another period of time, let us say he given bills of exchange for 2 months. Let us suppose on that day, before itself, he knows that, Surya knows that you don't have funds. Then he comes and requests the drawer, that is in Vikrant, saying that I don't have sufficient funds now. So please extend this. For 1 more month or 2 months, like that, whatever the period he wants. So then what are the general entries we are supposed to pay? When they are supposed to pay, what are the general entries we are supposed to write? That we'll discuss in when the renewed for another period of time. When the bill is retired, that means what is the difference between retired and discharge? Discharge means on due date, if he gives the money, that is called discharge of the bill. Before due date itself, he wants to discharge that payment. So then it is called as when the bill is retired. So why he gives an early? There must be some benefit to him also, right? He is in, let us say, but this is for 2 months. So Vikrant has 2 months of credit to Surya. So, but Surya is having funds, but even though he is having funds, he may not give without due date, because he can utilize those 2 months. So for foregoing those 2 months, he expects something, that is called discount he expects, right? So something, when he is retiring the bill, so he wants to avail certain discount, right? So if Vikrant is ready, then Surya will retire the bill. So that is how to treat that we'll discuss. When there is an accommodation bill, that means actually it's not a business. Generally when the business happens, then only these bills of exchange comes into picture. Sometimes what they do, both of them don't have money, but they want to get immediately money, or what they do indirectly, it's not a legally accepted, but indirectly what they do, he draws the bill on Rai, Rai also draws the bill on Rava, or let us say only one bill. So he draws the bill, he accepts, and if they go and discount with the banker will give money immediately by taking certain charges, right? Discounting charges they charge, and they give the immediately money. On due date, what is it? Because he has taken, so he will give the money to the Rai, and Rai discharge the bills to the bank. So vice versa also. Or simultaneously, let us say he draws 50,000 bill on Rai writes 50,000 on driver. Both of them go to bank, and both of them gets discounts, and both of them get the money on due date. So he discharges that bill, and that person discharges that bill, right? So by that, immediate money requirements they can get because of the accommodation bills. So accommodation, for the accommodation of bills, there is no specific and special other entries. It's like this only. So when the bill is drawn and accepted, some entry, the same entry will be continued, and when a bill is discharged, same entry will be continued. When he endorsed to third party, same entry, and everything. It's only an indirect adjustment between Vikrant and Surya. That is a vendor, Rai and a drawer, right? So accommodation bill or a regular bill, the accounting treatment is the same. The behind that concept is different, right? So now let us discuss about the general entries for these 8. If you know for all these 8 possible entries, then obviously you will become an expert in bills of exchange. There is nothing, rocket technology in this bills of exchange. Before entering the general entries, there is one concept called due date. Let us say Vikram sold goods on some date, let us say first of that month. So Surya purchased those goods and he wants to pay on 15 days. He wants to have a 15 days credit period, right? So that means for 15 days he draw the bill and Surya accepted. So then Surya is supposed to pay on what date? After 15 days, right? So but as far as this bills of exchange is concerned, the due date becomes 15 days plus 3 days. Those 3 days are called grace period. These 3 days are called grace period, right? So for each and every bills of exchange, the grace period will be 3 days, right? So there is not specifically not required to mention anywhere in the bills of exchange. It's by statute they get a 3 days grace period. So let us suppose those 3 days. Let us suppose he drawn on first of that month, right? So 15 days they have written. That means it becomes on generally if without grace period it becomes 15th is the due date, right? So if it is in 3 days grace period, then 3 days, that is an 18th will be the due date. Let us suppose 18th is on Sunday. That means it's general holiday. Any general festivals also is a general holiday, right? So if that day is an 18th is an holiday, then the due date becomes as a 17th, not a 19th, right? 17th. Let us say even 17th is also holiday, then it becomes 16th is a due date, right? Let us suppose the due date is an 18th, but 18th is not a general holiday. That is not a Sunday. That is not a already approved festival or approved holiday. Let us say suppose suddenly there was a strike, or there because of somebody expired, there was a holiday declared by the government. That is an unknown. When it's an unknown, then the due date becomes next day. That is an 19th. Due date becomes 19th. This is only in examination, if at all they wanted to give any tricky condition, tricky problems, only here they can do something, right? So if you know this due date, then due date, now we discussed about the due dates, grace period right? And also drawer, drawee. Generally, drawer sells the goods to the drawee. That's in goods supply. So immediately, if he writes the write and give it to the drawee, drawee accepts and give it back to the drawer. In general case. So if at all he wants to draw another name, that another this drawee after signing he has to give to the payee. This is a different person, right? So this is a bills of exchange. Let us say promissory note. He sends the goods to supplier, drawer, here the Surya. So drawer writes the bills of exchange. He himself signs and give it to the drawer, or he himself signs the promissory note and give it to the payee, right? So if it is a bills of exchange, he has to write, he has to accept. If it is a promissory note, he only writes, he only accepts. This is the major difference between the bills of exchange and promissory note, right? So by this we can say the terminology we know, due date we know, right? These are all the maximum possible entries we know. Now we are ready for writing the general entries, right? Now each and every scenario, now we try to write general entries, right? To save the time, what I do is, for all these scenarios, I write on the board and I explain, right? So before that, all of you note down these maximum possible entries, right? Now the maximum possible entries we'll discuss now, right? So in general, when the bills of exchange are concerned, the business transaction starts with the selling of the goods, right? So let us say when the goods are sold, when the goods are sold, when the goods are sold, all of you know, is a seller. Drawer is nothing but a seller. Drawee is a purchaser, right? In other words, we can say he is an creditor, as that is a debtor. Right? So when the goods are sold, what he writes, because it's a credit transaction. If that is a cash transaction, there is nothing to discuss about the bills of exchange, right? Because it's a credit transaction, what he writes, drawee account, or other words we can say debtor's account, debtor to sales account, right? So in drawee books, when he sold the goods, what he writes, purchases account debtor, purchases account debtor to drawer, or we can say creditor account. These are all the in general for the general entries for any financial accounts, right? So this is one possible general entry in starting entry. The next, when bill is drawn, when bill is drawn, who draws here? As far as the bills of exchange are concerned, the drawer will draw the bill and drawee is supposed to accept. When the drawer writes the bill and drawee accepted, then only transaction will write. So then general entry will be in bills receivable, account to debtor to drawee account, right? In the books of drawee books, what he writes? He writes drawer account debtor to bills payable account. As far as this drawer is concerned, it's a bills receivable. When it comes to drawee, it is a bills payable account, right? Then after that, when the bill is discharged, let us say in ordinary case, when the bill is discharged, when bill is discharged, that means no complications. Very simple. We sold the goods and he has accepted the bill. Now it is charged on due date. Then entries will be when discharged. Cash account debtor to bills receivable account, right? So in this case what he writes, because he is paying the cash and in turn whatever he gave that he will come back, right? So bills payable account debtor to cash account. This is a simple scenario. This everything is completed. Very simple transaction. In this, see, when the drawee account is debited, let us say this after debiting, now it is a credited, right? The bills receivable is debited here and it is credited. See, debit and credit. Ultimately, what we mean? Cash account to sales account is nothing but a cash sales, right? Here also in this case, see, purchase account to drawing account, and the driver account debtor, the driver account credit, bills receivable credit, bills payable. Ultimately, what happened? Purchase account to cash account. Only thing here is an difference is an only dates, right? Instead of paying immediately cash, they paid after some time. Right? This is a simple scenario of paying the bills. Let us say endorsement of a bill. So when in driver what he did, instead of immediately keeping the bill with him, he may endorse. When bill is endorsed. Endorsement here is a giving, it's like check or it's like cash. I am giving this to other person, but it's not an immediately check, immediate cash, because after some time only that person also gets. That is called, its name is an endorsement, right? When it's an endorsed, what it gets here, endorsee, right? That person, whoever he is giving, that person name, endorsee. As in the one we are discussing previously, no? So here the endorsee is an Hindu, in that case, Hindu account, endorsee account debtor to bills receivable account. Instead of keeping and getting back cash back here, immediately after getting the bills receivable, he is giving receivable to somebody else, right? So what he writes in the books of drawee, whether he keeps until the due date or if he gives to somebody else, he is nowhere related. Only on due date he is supposed to pay, either to him or somebody else, right? So that's the reason in his books no entry is required. In the case of endorsement, no entry is required in the drawee book, right? So let us say he instead of endorsement, he may discount with bank. Let us say discount bill with banker, right? Why a banker discounts? Let us say bill is in 1 lakh, immediately won't give 1 lakh because he is supposed to wait for due date. Let us say it's in 2 months, then he is supposed to wait 2 months. After 2 months only banker will get. So that's the reason what he charges. He charges some amount as in discounting charges. In generally, let us say some bank rate or plus risk point. And the discount rate, what are the points here involves? Regular bank rate plus risk rate. What is here risk compound? Let us suppose on that day, if at all he and he both are bankrupted, then that is the loss to the banker, right? So that's the reason that whatever the discount is there, that discount is inclusive of these two, right? That is an internal, as a professional or as an subject to know the subject perfection way, you are supposed to know these is also. So discount bill within banker, then general entry would be cash account debtor or bank account debtor, because we may directly get bank deposit or cash also we can get, right? So bank account debtor, full amount you won't give, right? So discount. So discount account debtor to bills receivable account. So the same thing, whether he keeps the with him, or if it's an endorsed, or if it's an bills discount, is nowhere concerned. Here also no general entry is required as far as the drawee is concerned, right? So let us suppose if he may send instead of endorsement or discounting, he sends the bills receivable to the banker on due date. Banker will collect, right? So that is called as an if bill sent for collection, right? Bill sent for collection. So when the bill sent for collection, bills for collection account is a separate account. Debtor to bills receivable account. As well, in the similar case, here no entry is required, right? Here see what is happening. Cash is not getting immediately, and due date only he gets, right? So that's the reason bills for collection, bills receivable. So instead of we are having a bills receivable account debit balance, we will have a bills for collection account debit balance. That is the only difference in this case, right? So the next transactions we'll discuss. Now, when the bill is collected, sent for collection to the bank, then after due date, he collects, right? So when he collects the amount, then what is the general entry we are supposed to write? Till now we have not got any amount, right? So, but bill sent for collection. So whenever it's a bill is received, collected by the bank, then general entry in the drawer's book is an bank account debtor to bills, not bills receivable, because bills receivable already credited. Bills sent for collection account, right? Which is already previously it was debited, now it's crediting, ultimately bank account. In the drawee book, obviously whether it's an bank comes and asks, or he comes and asks, or endorsee comes and asks, or whatever it can, the cases can be, the drawee in the drawee's account only general entry is in bills payable account debtor to cash account or to bank account if he pays through the bank, right? So any case the drawee account books, that is the general entry. Let us suppose the bill is dishonored. Dishonored cases can be if he retains the bill and dishonored, or if he endorsed to the other person when it's a dishonor, if he discounted with bank but when the dishonor, if the bill is sent for collection, right? When the bill is sent for collection, if that is dishonor, what are the general entries now we'll discuss. If he retains the bill on due date, if he collects, or on due date it is a dishonor, then the general entry would be at the time of receiving of the bill, drawee credited, right? The bill bills receivable debited. It's simply a reverse entry to the first entry. So what is the reverse entry here? Drawee account, previously we have credited when the bill receivable is taken. So now we are debiting bill drawee account debtor, right? So previously in the books of this drawee, we have debited the driver, right? So created bills receivable. Now we have to debit back the bills payable account. Payable account we have to debit. Why I have written only one not full? Because here the one thing is to be discussed. So when the bill is dishonored, to know as an authenticity, then what he goes to the notary, and he notes that, he says that, he confirms that on due date he come and ask the drawee, and drawee is unable to pay, right? So for that we call as a noting charges, right? We have to pay something for that, right? So if the bill is retained by the drawer and he noted, then noting charges also supposed to pay, right? Here the drawee account is to be debited with the bills receivable plus noting charges. Noting charges both together we have to debit, right? To bills receivable. Previously it was debit balance. Now we are writing it off. No more bills receivable with us. 2. When we pay to the noting charges, we credit the cash. Here we are not writing noting charges as separate account, because this is not our expense. Noting charges is not an expense of drawers, right? It's an expense of drawee. On behalf of him only we are paying. Because of him only we are paying, right? That's the reason we are not writing notary charges as a separate expense account, right? So now in his books, what he is supposed to debit, he is supposed, instead of by debiting the bills payable, and also along with he is supposed to debit noting charges. This is the expenses to drawee. Noting charges account are 2. Drawer. Previously, drawer was debited with whatever the payment is payable. Now he is to be credited with that and also noting charges. Drawer account, right? Everybody is comfortable with this. I think everybody has understood this, right? Here they have to be careful. Drawee account is debiting with not only bills payable, bills receivable, but also with notary charges. Here the drawer account is crediting not only with bills payable, but also with noting charges, right? If it's given endorsed to somebody else, let us say he endorsed, right? So when he endorsed to somebody else, the same procedure, he also goes to notary and noting the charges he gives, right? So then what we have to write? We have to debit. In any case, we have to debit the drawee. Here also same thing, bills receivable plus notary charges together we have to debit him. And credit. Credit to whom we have to credit? This NRC. Previously he was debited, right? So now we have to credit with how much? Because the notary charges paid by the NRC. So we have to credit with him. NRC we have to credit with same bank bills receivable plus notary charges. In his case, whoever it may be, whoever comes, because it remains same. Whatever the entry here by pass, the same entry he is going to pass, right? If it is discounted with bank, we have discounted with bank. The bank gave the amount, and now it was dishonored. Then we are supposed to pay to the bank, right? Banker won't remain quiet. So he also do the same thing whatever he does. So the same entry, drawee. Drawee account is debited with same to bank account. We are supposed to pay to the bank. How much we have to pay? Bills receivable plus notary charges. The same entry in the case of here is no way concerned whether it's an endorsement or discount or bill sent for collection, right? So it's a bill sent for collection, then what will be the general entry? In this case also, drawee account. Drawee account is to be debited with how much? Same, bills receivable plus notary charges. Right, here also bills receivable plus notary charges. Right, debtor to whom we have to credit? We are sent for collection to the bank, but bank account is never debited. Right, which account we are debited? We are debited with bills sent for collection account. Right, here also we have to credit the same thing. Bills sent for collection. Here we have to be careful. Bills sent for collection, how much? With bills receivable. But for the notary charges, who paid? Banker paid, right? So that notary charges separately we are supposed to give to the banker. So to bank account. Bank account is to be created with how much? With notary charges. Notary charges. Here it's only with credit with bills receivable amount. Bills sent for collection account is to be created with bills receivable amount. Notary charges to the extent of notary charges, bank account to be created. Here, as I said, whatever the case he may be, he writes only this entry, right? So this is the this is the possibility of general entries when bill is dishonored. All of you noted? If it's a requirement, if it's a required, please pause this video and note down entries, right? So now I go for another possibility of entries, right? So whatever the remaining are there, if we will discuss those, then we can go for example. One simple example we do, so that we will have it in very easy. Then only you can understand how easy it is. Right? Once we do the example, then you must feel that easiness. Right? Then what else are the possibilities? The bill is dishonored, that we have discussed. If the bill is that is renewed. The bill is renewed. Bills are renewed. That means before due date itself, they have that drawee came to the drawer and he requests him saying that I'm not able to pay immediately, so give some time, like that. So for that, so instead of going to here, then there is not required to go to the notary saying that this is dishonored. It's not a dishonor. Before dishonor itself, he comes and asks. So then the general entry would be for reverse entry. For reverse. What is this reverse? Previously we have written as an bills receivable, right? Now we are supposed to reverse it. So then general entry would be drawee account debtor to bills receivable account. It's a simple reverse to the whatever the earlier we have written. Here also same thing. Bills payable previously credited, now bills payable account is to be debited. Bills payable account is debited to drawer account, right? So that means first entry reverse it. We reverse it. Reversal. Then once it's a reverse, then entry. So simply we cannot postpone, right? Only if we give some during that whatever the period extended, that extension period is supposed to bear the expenses. What are those expenses? Interest, obviously. For interest. So extra, whatever the extra interest are there, that interest we is supposed to write. So drawee account is to be debited with, drawee account is to be debited with interest. This interest is an income for us. Interest is an income to drawer, right? So what he writes is an expense. For him it's an income, for him it's an expense. So interest account debtor to drawer account, right? So after interest, part payment. Let us say if he paid part payment. If you don't pay any payment, it's okay. Then if at all he pays any part payment and it is charges, then part payment. If at all he pays part of payment, then the cash account debtor to drawee account, right? Because we have received the cash. Here the drawer account debtor to cash account. Because they are paying cash, we are receiving the cash, we are debiting the cash, and they are crediting the cash. If at all you use it to check, that here the bank account, there are the bank account, right? For the new bill, after that, new bill, how much we have to write for the new bill? Total amount, whatever the previously he has given the total receivable plus interest, that means he is this plus this and minus whatever he paid, right? So with the remaining amount, let us suppose it's an 100 rupees, interest is in 10 rupees. Now the cash received, let us say 40 rupees. Then how much it remains? 110 minus 40, 70 remains. So with that 70 rupees we have to write the new bill. Now the bill for new bill, as is in first entry, bills receivables account debtor to drawee account, right? In this example, it's with an debit 70 rupees, right? This is also same. Drawer account debtor to bills payable account, right? This is how the if at all bills is renewed, right? The one more last transaction is the bill is retired. Bill retired. We have discussed the previously, bills renewal is different, bills regular payment is different, bills retirement is different. Retirement means before due date itself, if he wants to pay, drawee wants to pay because he is surplusing money or because he is required in the money because of some discussions, so he pays back. When he is postponing the payment, he paid interest, right? So when if it's wants to give early, obviously he also should have something, right? So that something is nothing but a discount, right? So like cash discount. So cash discount he will have. So then let us suppose he is payable within 100 rupees. So on due date he can give 100 rupees. Because he is paying early, let us say 2% discount or 5% discount. So 5% means 5 rupees. Then 95 rupees cash he gives. Drawee for full settlement, right? So what he is supposed to write? He is supposed to write an entry saying that drawee is fully cleared. So then bank account or cash account. Bank account or cash account. If he pays cash, then cash account. Cash account debtor Debit with how much? 95 rupees in this case. So, but he is supposed to credit the drawee with 100 rupees, right? He is supposed to clear the bills receivable with 100 rupees. Then 5 rupees is a discount, right? Discount account. Discount account debtor. How much discount do you have to charge? 5 rupees. So by this, cash reserve of 95 rupees, discount expense incurred 5 rupees, so the total 100 rupees. This 100 rupees to be debited with, credit with whom? Don't credit the drawee, because already drawee is no more in our accounts. Already when the bills receivable itself we have credited him. Again don't credit him. What if, because of what? Because of bills receivable, right? So bills receivable account. How much is to be credited here? With 100 rupees, right? Similarly, drawee account, he is not paying 100 rupees, he is paying only 95 rupees, but he is getting full of bills payable account, right? So now bills payable account is to be debited with how much? Full. Bills payable account is to be debited with 100 rupees, and cash or bank account is to be credited with 95 rupees, and discount is earning discount of rupees 5 rupees. The general entry now is bills payable account debtor to cash account whatever repaid to discount whatever he availed, right? So these are all the total general entries as well as the bills of exchange are concerned. Now I think everybody is clear about this, right? So next what we do is we have discussed all the possible general entries, maximum possible entries we have discussed, right? So now we are going to do one simple problem. By doing the simple problem, after doing the simple problem, we continue with all these scenarios, right? So once it's in all scenarios, that is also in simple manner we'll discuss. Once it is completed, the introduction to the bills of exchange will be completed. Thereafter, for the next complicated problem also we'll do in the next video, right? Now, as we said, we'll discuss with a simple example, right? So, let us say it's a simple example of Vikrant sold goods to Surya worth rupees 1 lakh on 10th March 2019. Vikrant wrote a bill for 2 months on Surya, and Surya accepted that. On due date, Surya paid. It's a very simple scenario. Some goods he sold to Surya, and on that date itself he wrote an bills of exchange. He accepted and gave it back, and thereafter on due date he paid. So now, before entering the general entries, we have to find out what is its due date, right? So what is the due date here? He wrote on 10th March 2019. For how many months? 2 months, right? 10th March, the next month is in 4th month, next is in 5th month, right? So here the due date will be in May 10th, right? So May 10th it will be in 2 months. Then as we discussed earlier, grace period is in 3 days, right? So that is in on 13th. On 13th May 2019 is a due date. On the due date, Surya paid, right? So now we are supposed to write general entries in the books of both Vikrant and Surya. Here the Vikrant is in drawer, Surya is in drawing, right? So he is in drawer, right? He is in drawing. But when we are writing and when we know the names, we should not say those are drawer or drawing. Directly in the names we are supposed to use, right? Because it's a general entries. Now, the first general entry, when he sold the goods to the Surya. On which date it's on? It's on 10th March. Here 10th March he purchased. So for selling the goods, what we write? Surya account. Surya account to sales account. With how much? It's in within 1 lakh rupees. Right? Being goods sold to Surya. Alright? This is what an description we are supposed to write. So on this same day, we also write the general entries. What he writes? He writes as an purchases account debtor to purchase account debtor to Vikrant account being goods purchased from Vikrant, right? This is what we are supposed to write. Normal entry, irrespective of the bills of exchange also, it's a general entry, right? Then on that he wrote and immediately accepted. If let us say he accepted on some other day date we have to give. But here in this case, on the same day he accepted. That means on 10th March itself, he received the goods, right? He received the bills of exchange. Then bills of exchange account debtor to Surya account being bills receivable. Here it's on bills receivable account. Bills receivable received, right? For how much? It is also for 1 lakh. This is for 1 lakh, right? On the same day he also writes, because bills payable, he issued the bills payable, right? So Vikrant account debtor to bills payable account with 1 lakh, right? With 1 lakh, great. Again he also writes as and being bills payable issued in lieu of credit, right? So goods sold and the bills receivable received on due date. Which date it is? On 13th May. On 13th May. Here also on 13th May. He has given, right? There is no, and nothing is there, no problems. Very simple case. He has given the cash. Then obviously cash account. If it is in check received, bank account, any one account, right? Bank account debtor to bills receivable account with 1 lakh. So by this, all the transactions of this is an over, being the cash received on due date. Being cash received towards bills receivable, right? In this case, when he paid bills payable account debtor to cash, if you pays cash, or else bank account with rupees 1 lakh, right? Being bills payable discharged, bills payable discharged. These are the simple problem, simple entries we made. Right? This is what is a total bills of exchange introduction part. So thereafter, on Sunday, we in another video, we also discuss in different scenarios with the difficult problems, with the complicated problems. But remember, whatever earlier as we discussed earlier, those 8 points. If you know all those general entries, automatically it's a very easy. Whatever the problems he may give, right, that we can solve. We meet you in the next video. Thank you for watching. I request once again, please like, subscribe my video, and if any comments are there, you please do comments. I'll answer each and every one of you.